All right, here we go. Sermon application video. This is for Tuesday. Take one. In 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome back, Christ United. Once again, thank you so much for checking out these sermon application videos this week. Hope your Monday went great, and here is your Tuesday application video. Yesterday, we started off with the story of Joseph, where we learned about, we started to kind of get a background about how he was the favorite son and why his brothers hated him and were so jealous of Joseph. And just in case you were confused, Jacob, who is Joseph's father, is also Israel. So if you would have seen Joseph, then you also saw Israel in your text. That is the same person. It is still, Joseph's father. So just so you know that. But because Joseph was born to Jacob at such an old age, Jacob was very old whenever Joseph was born. It was almost like a miracle child. So he was just his favorite son because of that. And we kind of talked yesterday, maybe you experienced some of that. And we also kind of learned that, this is where the brothers really started to kind of hate and be really jealous of him, because Joseph just couldn't do any wrong. Maybe that's you and your family. Maybe you have a brother or sister. Whatever they do, it doesn't matter how bad, whatever, that they just could do no wrong in your parents' eyes. Well, Joseph couldn't do any wrong. And in fact, there were several times where you read where Joseph would go out to get a report back to dad about how his brothers are doing. And he would come back to his father Jacob and say, hey, brothers aren't doing so good, and gave them a bad report. Well, just like, your brother or sister ratting on you as a kid, it would make you kind of mad and irritate you. And over time, that would really start to build on you. And then to top it all off, as you read towards those latter verses of 1 through 11, you pick up where Joseph starts the whole dreamer thing, where the whole dream thing with Joseph really kicks in, where he has a couple of dreams and he's excited about these dreams because he believes that they're from God. And I mean, if God spoke to you, you'd probably be pretty excited to tell people about it. Well, that was Joseph. He was so excited to tell his brothers about his dream, but he never really sat and thought, wow, this might make them mad, because his dream, he was like, wow, you know what? I had a dream where I became great and you bowed down to me. I mean, imagine if your brother or sister came to you, hey, you know what? I had a dream and I believe God gave it to me, and I'm going to be great one day and you're going to bow down to me. I mean, you're probably not going to be too welcome to that. So that's kind of the story where we kind of kicked off, and where we kind of left off with this story, where his brothers just got very mad at him because of the dreams he was having and how he just seemed like he was so much better than what they were. So today we're going to we're still going to be in chapter 37 in Genesis, but we're going to start in verse 12, and then we're going to go through verse 36 through the rest of the chapter. And this is the part of the story that really gets interesting when we talk about the story of our lives, because this is where that parallel and that idea of thinking about, wow, whenever I'm about to be in a decision-making process with all the emotion built in, maybe I need to step back and not make a decision with all the emotion, and maybe pick my head up and look into the future and really decide, is this a decision that I want to be a permanent part of my story? Because once you make the decision, it's a permanent part of your story. And it's either going to be a part of your story that you're going to want to be excited to tell people about later, or it's going to be a part of your story that you are always going to want to lie about, or you're always going to want to leave out and just not tell someone that you love, or your kids, or a spouse that you eventually meet. You're not going to want to tell them your whole story because you're ashamed of it. And this is kind of where that concept kicks in as we read, because this is where the whole dynamic changes, where it goes from just being so angry with somebody and just having all these evil thoughts about, man, I'd like to do this or I'd like to do that. And this is where it comes down to, with all that emotion built in, you have the choice to make. Do you actually take action to what you're thinking about, or do you need to say, do I want this a part of my story? So go ahead and pick up your Bibles and read Genesis 37, verses 12 through 36, and then we will check in tomorrow with you guys. So make it a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.